What's poppin'? Welcome to a web-exclusive version of Real Ones. I am Logan Murdoch. That is Howard Beck. We are here to tell you if your playoff team is real or fake. Let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder, one of the youngest teams in the league, who's probably one of the biggest stories in the league in terms of success, right? They kind of stuck their chest out at the beginning of the season, say, hey, we are going to be one of the best this year. We're going to take that next step. We are ready to take the leap. And they followed through on their actions, which is really, really good. But even with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, even with the great young supporting cast, can this team make a finals run, Mr. Howard Beck?
Hey, listen, their talent would suggest yes. Their record would absolutely suggest yes. The fact that they have been most of the season top 5 in both offensive and defensive efficiency absolutely indicates yes. That's a pretty good indicator of being a contender in the NBA. Where I hesitate is the experience factor. How much will that matter? Historically, it does matter in the NBA. Really young teams don't tend to win championships or even make the finals a lot of the time. Average age of their starting 5, Logan, 22.6 years old. That's really young. If you even go 9 deep, and now we're putting old head Gordon Hayward in the mix in their 9-man rotation, the average age is still 24 for the guys who play regularly. That's still really young. Their only starters who have even been in the playoffs are Shai with 13 playoff games and Lou Dort with 6. Their other 3 starters, 0 combined playoff games. And the guy with the most experience, postseason experience on the roster is the aforementioned graybeard, if he had a beard, Gordon Hayward. So like that part of it, you can't dismiss. You can't dismiss it. The talent's there, but I do wonder whether the lack of experience and the youth ultimately might derail.
It's interesting because when I think about this team, I think about the Oklahoma City Thunder of yesteryear. And I don't want to get into a comparison of that, but what I do want to get into is just basically how hard it is in your first year to play in an environment that you've never been in before, right? You even saw it 10 years ago with the Oklahoma City Thunder with KD going up against KD, Russ, and Harden going up against the Lakers in 2010, and just how much of a different type of game that was and their adjustment level to that. What do you think the adjustment level will be for this current group of the Oklahoma City Thunder as they're trying to play in an environment they've never truly been in before? Now, I know that they went into the play-in last year, but we both know that the playoffs are a different beast, especially when you have expectations. How does OKC prepare for this moment that they've never been in before? And do you see it going, at least in the short term, pretty good or pretty bad?
You can't prepare for a playoff environment, right? Like there's no simulating that. I've seen teams hold practices with like the PA system cranked up, like just pounding them with, whatever, heavy metal or something, just to try to create or simulate the intensity and the volume of a playoff game. But you cannot simulate, you can't manufacture playoff experience. You just have to go through it, and you can't simulate the environment and the pressure and the tension that you feel, the nerves, and the mistakes that then sometimes causes. The thing about this Oklahoma City Thunder team, though, Logan, if you watch them in the regular season, and again, different animal, but in the regular season, like this is a team that's pretty, I don't want to say mistake-free, but they're a very low-mistake team. They look really polished. They do not play like guys in their early 20s. They look seasoned. They make the right decisions. They play well off of each other. They're pretty disciplined. They got a really sharp coach in Mark Daigneault. Like this is one of those rare cases where I don't want to assume too much, but I kind of feel like, as much as I talked about experience to start this video, I'm not sure that it's going to matter as much for this team because they project as so polished and composed. Will that hold up? If in the second round or in the conference finals, should they make it on the road in a tight game 5 or something? We'll see.
The biggest question that has loomed over this team throughout this season has not even been on the court. It's honestly just been, should this team make a move? Now, they made a move at the trade deadline for a veteran in Gordon Hayward, as you said. But do you think that is enough? Like, me personally, and I'll give my opinion before we get to your answer, is I think that everything that I've heard, even just around the Oklahoma City Thunder, is that they just want to see what this group can do together. There hasn't been a proven if they could win as a group together or not win as a group together, because they've never been in this thing before. So the Oklahoma City are taking the approach of, let's just see what we have before we make anything drastic moves. And I think that they learned a lot from a few years ago when they traded Jeff Green for Kendrick Perkins. And I know it was a different time and the reasons why they did it, but it didn't work out in the way that I think that everyone thought it should work out. Back in the day, they were competing against the Andrew Bynums and the Dwight Howards of the world in the Western Conference, and wanted to make sure that they were fulfilled they wanted to make sure that they were fortified in the front court playing against those teams, and probably regret it on the back end. I think that's a good play that they should see what they have, because, like you said, Howard, they're so young. But do you think that are you on the same page with me on that one, or do you think they should have made a move?
So there's a part of me, this is going to sound very 20th century old school of me, that loves the idea of, you drafted this really great, young, promising core, give them some time, right? What's the rush? We talked about the relative ages of all these guys, whether it's Jalen Williams or the other Jalen Williams or Shea, Chet, all of them. It's a really young group. You don't have to rush this. It's okay to let them get in the playoffs and fail, as many teams throughout NBA history have, and then come back the next year that much more experienced and fortified, a couple tweaks in the offseason. Let them grow together. Let them evolve. That's my default mode still. Again, I understand, very 20th century of me. In today's NBA, your window is sometimes not long enough to do that comfortably, because teams don't have 8 to 10 years. Now they have 3 to 5 years, and things change really quickly. And you have the luxury tax and aprons and second aprons and all this other stuff that can get in the way. So I understand the argument for they should have just gone all in at the deadline, consolidated, they've got a bazillion first-round picks, right? Consolidate some of the picks and some of the young players into one absolute stud to put in this lineup. I don't know if that guy was available or not. And we'll see in this offseason if they make a move like that. But for the time being, I'm sticking with my 20th century mindset of, let's let them see what they can do first. And if they fail, whatever failure may be at this stage, address it later.
What would warrant, hey, we need to get somebody else into the fold here? Would it be we lost in the first round, we were disappointed in the second round? What would constitute, we love this group, we should stick with this group for years to come, we don't need any help, this group is fine where it is? Yeah,
I mean, first round flame out would certainly make you question, maybe we weren't as great as the regular season record suggested. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's say they get at least to the second round, and maybe they lose in 5 or something, and things just kind of go badly, they lose to a more experienced team. I think you reflect on it, but I also think this is a league where it's really about what's available. It's about being opportunistic, right? You could say going into the offseason, all right, that's it. We didn't get far enough. Let's go get that other superstar to pair with Shea and the rest of this group. That guy might not be available. You have to have somebody to trade with. There has to be somebody available, and there has to be the guy who fits right too. And they've established a real, they've got great culture. We overuse that word, but this is clearly a team that plays for each other, and that works really well together. They've got a great chemistry. You don't want to be too hasty and mess that up either.
All right, Howard. Now, for the question of the hour. Are the Oklahoma City Thunder real or fake?
They are absolutely real. If the potential to make at least a conference finals run or even get to the finals, if a couple things break their way, means real, then I say real. Absolutely.
If real means going to the finals, I say they are fake. But if real means giving teams that they're not supposed to give a run for their money, they're absolutely real. You don't want to see them in any way, shape, or form. They're tough, they're young, they're not scared, and they're well coached. So I'm going to go real. You guys better watch out for the Oklahoma City Thunder because they are coming.